in relationship with partners, with children, yes, of that pause when I didn't mean to yell at my kids. I didn't mean to move too fast and ignore what they just offered me. Of pause, hopefully before, but even after going, that didn't feel right, because you're looking at their faces and going, that wasn't loving and kind, and not that it always has to. No, I have to discipline, and you need to know. But the kid's like this, or your wife is shut down, and it's like, that didn't sit right with me. Did it sit right with you? No, you can't ask that to a little kid. People take to what I really meant to say, little one or beloved, is this, is that higher mind, that person who's in charge, calling on all the powers that be, please, and I did training with nonviolent communication. I remember going home after asking Marshall Rosenberg, what do I do? My daughter just throws things on the floor. When I come home, there's no place to sit. And I just tell her, just pick up your clothes. And she never does. Okay, this is straight from the master, right? He goes, that's the whole iMessage man, right? He goes, well, when I come home, I'm really tired. There's no place for me to sit. So it's an iMessage. I describe what's going on. The kids go, they spill every food. When the food's spilled, it makes a mess, doesn't it? Would you be willing to go get a cloth and clean it up? And I told my daughter, would you be willing to hang up your clothes so mom has a place to sit? Mm. So it's an iMessage, it's a description, and then it's an ask. So what does it take to do that rather than pick up your clothes and, get them out of there and realize that I've said that 10 times, it never worked. Why do I so that's the higher awareness. Why do I keep saying that? It never works. I just have to say it stronger, and I'm in charge and you're not. I just devalued my child's development. Mm-hmm. You didn't give them freedom to be. And it's like, well, they need to be taught how to be out of compassion or out of control. Because they're going to get so used to that control, they're going to look for a controlling partner, a controlling government, because they don't know only the person in control does. You've just disempowered their soul. So it's our job to be aware of our actions, our words. What is it? Your thoughts create your actions create your habits, your habit creates, it's all. So what do? We can start with our thinking and our gut feelings.
If you could tap into the wisdom of every wisdom piece that's been shared with you, what do you believe is most needed to be said right now for us to be real adults, for us to be embodied, integrated, powerful, loving, joyful, all the things? What needs to be said from an elder's perspective so that we can rise to all be fully integrated adults right now?
Silence. And seeing what comes up in that silence. Meditation teachers will say, yeah, a lot of thoughts will come up. That's actually tension releasing. Once a big TM, transcendental meditation thing, is just, you want that. And you just watch it. You don't, okay, I can market that. Oh, I could do that. I can do that. It's like, just be with what comes up. But it takes silence for that to start coming up. If we're doing, we're saying not time. I don't have time. And then we go home. It's like, exhausted. Just in the moment, even as you're on their workspace or you're, whatever your day-to-day task is, you're changing diapers, or there's always a pause between each breath. Breath in, hold it for a second. Breath out, hold it for a second. It's like breathing comes autonomically, but it's a one body things. We can't, unless we're some divine monk, change our heartbeat, but we can change our breath. Breath is like a seed of consciousness. So if we can just give it a pause of, and even now I can go, okay, I did it. I did my breath. Okay. It's like, move on.
I did my breath. Let me move on to the next thing.
I know. But just give it a little space, and then something bubbles up. If you really have to write it down, but it's just like, let it bubble up. It's like, how do we release a little bit, just a little bit of those bruises, of those worries, of those concerns. Mm. And especially if you're in a family, you live with a bunch of people, or even on a workspace, you do that, And I promise you, people will notice. They may not say anything, but you will notice this settling. Like we paused a little bit. Even now, we're just pausing. We're connecting. We're breathing together. We're sharing the aloha. We breathe together. If you're sitting with your children, just breathe with them. And kind of feel their breath and feel your breath. My kids were really calm today. Wonder why? That's calming the waters.
Easy said, easy listened to. Different for it to be done.
I know. That's why it's like, okay, I did my breath.
Yeah.
Okay, move on. And then celebrate that. It's like, oh, you're funny. It's just celebrate that. Well, let's try it again. Try it again.
It brings me back to when I was a personal trainer. It wasn't about me like helping people work out. It was about me being present with someone. They would re-sign with me. They would be my client, not because I made their butt look better or they lost the 15 pounds. It was because they just craved this.
Yeah.
And they wanted someone to hold them through what was physically difficult emotionally.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what I'm being called forth to do, to be a trainer. So everything in reverse is perfect. All my teachings and all the things that I've wondered why I was doing them in my past, hindsight is perfectly envisioned. Because being a trainer taught me to be present with you. 10 years of being with clients that allowed me to be a better podcaster, to be in curiosity about what makes somebody's gift emanate in the world. What is up with Margot? Who is this mysterious yet powerful woman? Like, why is she here? What is she all about? That's the kind of thing that I think we get to get drunk on now, not the loneliness part, not the inward part. Mm-hmm. And so that's my challenge and also my invitation. It doesn't have to be a challenge to anybody listening to this podcast is, wow, really take in that you are so powerful and you are so special. And it is your calling to cultivate the courage to be able to speak that out into the world, because that's the antidote for the loneliness. That's the antidote for the pain. Like you read to me a book at the beach, and it was from Rumi. And so the cure for the pain is the pain.
Yeah. And in those, it's all about the vagus nerve, people if I can have this inner calmness and pass it on, and then people will it's calming the waters so we can walk on the waters, even without a paddleboard. It's what is that the elements will actually carry us because they feel so in tune with us. And it's not just a cartoon fairy tale. But the myths hold archetypes that are more true than true.
How so? What do you mean?
Well, we all have, it's kind of like our different parts. It's like the archetypes are different parts of us. And they battle, they marry, there's jealousy, there's all these parts, but they're, who's the head god? Is it Zeus? Who's the higher mind? Who's orchestrating all of this?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Who's orchestrating? And it feels like marketing right now is orchestrating that. Oh, and by the way, I don't think it's AI, it's AP. Artificial intelligence, is it really intelligent? It's artificial plagiarism. They're gathering, the computer system is gathering all of our information. So let's be part of the information givers, not part of the assimilators. And then we start seeing our words on AP AI. It's like, oh yeah. But if it's true, you can try and copyright it, but if it's true everywhere. And nobody owns it. It's like the native saying, you can't own the earth.
Well, all wisdom is borrowed, but artificial is actually in the term artificial.
Yeah.
So it's not superficial, it's artificial. So it's coming from an artifact or a real being, which is you and I. And it's trying to make itself have the same wisdom or the same innate intelligence that we have. I've even heard Kevin Kelly, he was on the podcast once, the founder of Wired Magazine. And he said, well, all technology is essentially the technium, when the technium is consciousness experiencing itself through technology, which I think is an interesting, fun way to put some verbiage to it. But at the core of it all, the rise of artificialness is really a symptom of our own sickness. Because if something's artificial, that means that it's not wholesome. That means that it's not natural. It's being superimposed, or it's being, replicated and multiplied from an original source, which is God, God's self, nature, the creator of all things. But then why is the creator allowing it to happen? That's the whole paradox that I think we're all in. Don't you all agree?
Don't go anywhere. Click the link on this screen. If you love that clip that you just watched, you're going to absolutely love this full length video. You just have to tap the little icon on the screen. While you're at it, subscribe.